also stole Careless Whisper from me, so we're even. And he joins us on the phone now. Pat, what's good, buddy? How you been?
Good. I didn't realize until now that Careless Whisper was yours. So,
dude.
So thank you.
Hold on.
Well, we got to clarify this
Yeah.
because Craig has claimed for a while.
He knows the
He's
story.
mentioned it numerous times, and sometimes when Craig claims things, I have to Google it just to make sure it's accurate. Now we get to hear it from you. Is it true? Did you steal that from
Yes.
Craig? Was that his idea?
It was his idea. Yeah, I mean, there's no way around it. Thank you.
So here's the best part. I've told the story.
You win, Craig.
So
Wow.
Pat and the guys come in with me and Boomer. This probably about 5 years ago now, 4 years ago. And he's playing all the hits and all that stuff. He's been really great and gracious with us. And I say to him, look, I go, you're one of my favorite songs that your voice would be great for. And I tell him, George Michael, Careless Whisper, and you're never gonna dance again, guilty feet of God. Right.
So the doobie doobie part that's coming up too, right?
Yeah, doobie doobie. So he does it in studio, kind of off, the top of his head.
Right.
So that night, Pat and the guys were doing like a private show in like a basement bar kind of thing for the new release. What's the heck song was it? It was for
Play that song.
Doobie.
Play That Song. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there with Eric Olson from Crush Music, and I'm minding my business, drinking a beer, and all of a sudden, Pat goes, there's a song I've always loved, and I just want to play it for you. And it's Careless Whisper. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. I look at his sound guy. His sound guy looks over and gives me the finger. Anyhow.
Man, that part I wish was true because that'd be funny.
It is true. Good times anyway. I always wonder this. Like, it's 20 years, I'm sure, has gone by in a blink, right? Since Drops of Jupiter came out.
Yeah.
I always wonder, when you have a huge hit like that, do you ever feel like a prisoner to the song from the standpoint that even 20 years later, you guys are going to sell out Jones Beach or PNC Bank Art Center, and if you don't play it, people are going to be pissed?
Well, because as a fan, I would be pissed. Like, I've toured with bands that didn't play their hits. Those days are kind of over, but there was a time when if you were a cool band, you wouldn't play the hits, and I just never understood it because why would you not want to see people sing back to you like the thing that you created? Like, Isn't that why we all got in this in the first place?
Well, for that and girls, obviously.
Yeah. No, mostly the chicks. Yeah, right. But also there's other parts of it, and that one is really big for me. Like to see the connection of like something that came from nothing, out of thin air, and all of a sudden we're all in the same emotional moment together. It's pretty great, man.
But then why would artists not want to play their hits? Is it like resentment against the fact that it became so popular and it's, hey, listen to these other songs that are great that don't get enough attention?
Yes. That's a real, that's exactly well, that's the philosophy that I always thought of because I never really understood it.
Yeah, like Bon Jovi came out with a country album. Mm-hmm. And when he toured it, whether you liked it or not, it's immaterial. People wanted to hear Slippery When Wet.
Right.
And he's like, no, I got these 15 country songs. And people got pissed.
Yeah.
They didn't want to hear it because they want to hear the songs they sing along to. Like when you go to a train show, I used to do this. On the way to the concert, what do? You blast the music because you're so amped up to hear it live.
Right.
Well,
So
the way I categorize it or make it make sense to me is like, let's put it into sports, right? So let's say your favorite team is the New York Giants. And so you go tailgate about all the great memories. You're with all your friends. And then you go in and the Giants aren't there. You got to watch the Redskins.
It's an interesting analogy. I'm trying to process that one.
It seems like it's pretty unfair. You know what I mean?
You want to see the Giants, and you're watching Washington. Who needs to see
Frankly,
Ryan Fitzpatrick run around?
No idea what that meant, but I'm thinking about it. The legalized weed is coming to New York.
It's been here for a while.
I'm gonna figure it out eventually. Pat, talking to Pat Monahan from Train, who's nice enough to chime in, and this is the 20th anniversary of the song that really made you and the group famous, frankly. And there have been a lot of other hits along the way, but that was the real big one. That was the big change for you guys. You've done the national anthem a lot too, and I always wonder, artists like to say, most difficult song in the world to sing. Why is that?
Personally, I hate to sing the national anthem. I've said this to my manager every time he asks me to do it. It's so nerve-wracking that it's just you against the world, and there's only two results. Either you do a great job and no one cares, or you don't and you're a meme. Those are the two results. There's the only two, and there's nothing in between. And like, it's just not the what you get out of it isn't worth it to me. But I did it so often because I have great managers, and they're like, "Come on, man, you got to represent. You got to get out there and do it." And then I got to see some pretty cool NBA games and stuff like that. But it's hard, man. It's just hard because it's not the song itself as much as it's you got to remember the lyrics and really nail it just to get nothing out of it.
Right. So you've done NBA Finals, Daytona 500, the Winter Classic, Stanley Cup. Was there any one of those?
AFC championship game, yeah.
Was there any one of those that stood out that was more difficult and more nerve-wracking than the others?
Yeah. Here, I'll tell you what it was. Exactly. They're opening the new stadium in San Francisco, or the Bay Area, because it's not in San Francisco anymore.
Right.
And the design is kind of bizarre because, it's built in a way that the home team has to walk through one side and over to the other side of the field because they built it incorrectly. All this weird stuff. The sound system is like, okay, Pat, you're the first one to do it. You're a San Francisco artist. Let's go. And so we rehearse it. It's fine. It's easy. Then when I come out there to do it, they are like, okay, you're going to run out there with a minute left, jump on this podium, and then the entire rest of the field is an American flag. So it looks insanely cool. They hand me a microphone, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like, hey, man, check your mic before we go. So I'm like, check. And I have in-ears on, so there's no sound. The mic is not working.
Got it. Oh.
So while the mic is not working, they are like, okay, 5, 4. And I'm like, dude, your mic doesn't work. And so they are like, go. They don't have time to wait. So now I'm singing. Oh, right. Yeah. No sound still. So I hear while I'm singing, somebody taps me on the leg from underneath the podium with another microphone. Oh, so then I grab that microphone, and I have 2 microphones now in my hands, and I'm singing, and I don't know which one's working, but one of them starts to work. And then I get done, I hand the mics over, and I go, that's the last time I'm ever doing that shit. Right. And then all of these friends of mine texted me, dude, you're so awesome that you needed 2 mics. And I was like, yep.
I was like, the story was like, cocky Pat Monahan. Right. 1 mic's not enough.
So did you have to did you just continue singing, not miss a beat, or did you restart it because no one heard the first part? Well, what did you do?
I kept going, and then they told me, hey, it wasn't a big deal. They knew that there was an audio problem, so the guys were talking, the 5 or 10 seconds into it until you were on live, and then they flipped over to you. So I just had to keep going. And plus, if I wouldn't have been on at all, it would have been fine with me. I like I said,
I hear you. It's crazy that perspective. Pat and I were supposed to play golf, and then I got in trouble and went away for a while, so we never got to actually play that golf game. But you've been hobnobbing again, Pat. You and your celebrity friends playing golf. Every time I check in, I'm like, all right, who's he with now? And it's like, it's nonstop with the hobnobbing. Like,
yeah. I like to name drop, but I stopped when I went to that George Clooney party, and Brad Pitt was like, man, this name dropping business.
Yeah, like the only guy that I know personally that's even close to our level is Jim Brewer, and that's because we live in the same town. Like,
I mean, Jim is a really good friend of mine.
Is he a good golfer, though? No
I don't
way.
know. I've never seen Jim golf.
Oh, I thought you might have actually golfed with him. All right.
No, he's one of my favorite guys in the whole world.
Great dude. Yeah. We actually live in the same town right now. I'll bump into him at the bagel store every now and then. And we look at each other like...
You don't ask him to do go boy while he's in the bagel shop?
No, because Jim and I became friendly before I went away. And just as Pat said, just a great dude. But for some reason, I thought you would maybe golf with him, but I guess not. Like, if you're going to golf with, let's just say, like a Clooney or someone really uber famous, would you be nervous? Like, what would make you more nervous? The national anthem again, or playing golf with a huge celebrity?
I've played golf with some huge celebrities, and the fact that most of them aren't very good at golf
That's
takes
the
the
benefit.
stress off right away.
Right.
So it would definitely be the national anthem. I get worked up in a terrible way for it. But there are guys that I would like to golf with that I never have gotten to. But I've golfed with like guys like Sam Jackson, and I was out with Pesci. Like, there's some pretty cool guys.
Have you golfed with Tiger Woods?
Tiger and I have. So he gave me a lesson because I sang at Tiger Jam a couple years ago. So he gave me an hour-long lesson on the range in Las Vegas.
That's got to be like, I mean, what's that like?
Man,
that's got to be stupid, right?
I did Tiger Jam, I did Tiger Jam like 15 years ago, and we went and hit blackjack tables afterwards in Vegas for like 3 hours. So, but the difference is like I'm putting $25 chips down, and he's putting $25,000 chips down.
Sadly, I know that story all too well. Unfortunately, talking to Pat Monahan. Listen, 20th anniversary of Drops of Jupiter. If I have the story right, your mom passed away, and the initial couple lines of the song came in your sleep. Is that story legit?
Yeah, the whole song. I wrote it in 15 minutes.
Come on.
At the time, Columbia Records, Donnie Einer was like, you don't have the single that we need to keep your career going the way you want it to. Like, we had the whole album made, and he just didn't buy any of the songs as like the first initial song. And so 3 months went by, and I wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote. And then one night I fell asleep. I woke up 10 minutes later, wrote the entire song in 15 minutes, went to New York and played him the disc of the demo, which was not great. And he heard right away. He was like, this is the song. He said, this is not just the first single, but this is the song of the year.
What's the deep fried chicken line? Did your mom love fried chicken, or is that like, I need something to rhyme with kitchen?
She was such a great cook. She could make anything, but we didn't have any money. She would make things with like, $6 and feed all 9 of us. And so it was just my way of saying, she's great at that. And then the soy latte, I didn't even drink coffee at the time, but all the guys in the band were going to Starbucks like it was some kind of weird cult.
Right.
And they would get soy lattes. And so I was like, I'm going to add it. And I was asked to change both of those lines and get rid of Tybo. But Tybo is a reference because I'm from Erie, Pennsylvania. And the guy who created Tybo, his name is Billy Blanks.
Right.
And so I talk about Tybo because that was Billy Blanks.
There you go. See that?
Fast.
And now he's doing Geico commercials or something. Or some kind of...
I want to do a Geico
I can't believe you wrote that song in 15 minutes. Like, when you're dreaming, the words are just popping into your head, and then you quickly wake up and scribble it down. Is that how it works?
Basically, it was, honestly, I don't know, maybe my mom wrote it, but it was her way of saying, like, imagine when, I'm not sure if you have both of your parents here, but for a boy who's very close to his mom and then she's gone all of a sudden, like with very little warning, it was trauma, right? And so I woke up basically having had a conversation with her saying, it's okay. I'm okay out here. I get to swim through the planets. I get to have these other experiences. So just go on and do your thing.
Right. There had to be some kind of drugs involved in that.
At the time, I was sober for like
really?
years and years and years. I've been drinking wine now for like 8 years, but before that, I was sober forever.
He's like a sommelier now. Like, you can't go out to dinner with Pat because he's like Garrett Cole. He makes you drink a certain kind of wine, and it's his wine.
Yeah. And then I have alligator arms, so I'm like reaching for my wallet like this.
That's why he's got all the money. But the winery's doing good. I know you do a lot with charity too, but it's all going great for you, huh?
Yeah, we have a new one that comes out at the very top of April. It's our Monterey Cab Reserve. There's only 200 cases of it. It'll sell out that day, but
great.
I got some cases on my own so that when I do come and see you guys, I'll be ready for you.
Dude, I can't wait.
Nice.
I know you must miss live performances, COVID. What are you guys hearing from the label? You think you'll be able to do Jones Beach type of shows? I mentioned PNC, of course, just great outdoor places for concerts. Is there a plan to get out this summer?
This summer, we're going to do some basic, just get our feet wet. We have stuff May, June, July, all the way through the rest of the year.
Cool. Great.
We'll be coming to New Jersey and everything, but not in a major way. We'll wait until next year to do that. We're talking to some bands that we came up with to to do that tour with us, and I think there's a San Francisco band that it would be really great if they did it with us. It would make for a great.
The Grateful
tour.
Dead, unbelievable. He's taking over for John Mayer. That's it. Can you imagine? Well, listen, Pat, it's always good seeing you, pal, and talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
And when you obviously come east, I'd love to get together and see you. And if we can play some golf, great. But I'll bring you back on. And obviously, we can't wait for live music to be back. And having you guys back on tour would be great. So I'm
I got
hoping
to tell you,
for it.
sports has been such a great saving grace for all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, when they took all sports away, including golf, which seemed like the safest thing possible.
Right.
When that started to come back, it gave us all at least a little hope. So thanks for having me on your show, and I'll look forward to the next time.
Wife and kids good? Everyone's healthy? Everyone's well?
Yeah, man. My kids, honestly, like months ago in November, they tested positive.
Right.
And had 0 symptoms. I was shocked. And then my wife and I never got any symptoms, and we still have no antibodies, but they still do. And we just had to test to go to Maui tomorrow, and we're negative, and we got vaxxed, and
cool.
I think we're in good shape.
Hey,
So,
before I let you go, if you could, it could be your song or someone else's, and we all know about the great, Zeppelin covers you guys did. If you could only play one song, and then you can't sing ever again,
wow.
what is the one song Pat Monahan would want to play as the last song anybody ever hears him play?
Well, it would be a cross. It would either be Drops of Jupiter, or I wrote a song about me dying once called Sing Together, which is, hey, this is the last you'll ever hear of me, but if you ever want to honor me, then sing together. That's all you should ever do. And it just will bring you together and remind you of like the whatever little I was able to do on this planet.
That's a really morbid thought, though, huh?
Well, I mean, I like to be as morbid as I can. And
hey,
and
kid, how about this? Hey, kids, want to hear Daddy's new song? Okay. I mean, okay, here's the premise. I'm dead. What? But you guys are all singing at my funeral. What?
I mean, your question was morbid to begin with. You said,
hey,
last
instead of
song.
happy birthday this year, kids, I wrote a new one.
Daddy's dead. Daddy's dead.
Oh man, that's sweet.
There
Okay,
you
well
go.
let's never talk about this again.
Well, always good times talking to you, Pat. Be well. I'll talk to you
right,
offline
too.
and look forward to seeing you in Jersey, pal.
Yep, me too. All right, see you guys. Thanks
Pat
a lot.
Monahan, 20th anniversary. Drops of
I mean,
Jupiter.
think about your question, though. You can never sing another song again. The guy is a musician. It's like me asking you, all right.
Think he sings every night?
You have one more minute on talk radio. It's
Yeah.
over after this.
One
you
minute,
can't say
one show.
One show.
All right.
What's the main sports topic? That's it. For the next 5 hours, you never get to do a show again.
Francisco Lindor should sign the goddamn contract. Your thoughts? 877-337-6666.